we'll soon be heading into the summer travel season, which may have you wondering if you should spring for travel insurance. Well, you should also know your rights when it's not you canceling your trip. Let's welcome Jim Brauchle, member attorney at Motley Rice. Great to have you with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So canceled flights is what we're talking about. This happens all the time, and usually the passenger's left holding the bag.
That's right.
All right. So how do we get the power back, Jim? How do we get the power back?
Unfortunately, right now there are no laws. If there is a canceled flight, you're right. Passengers are left holding the bag. The airline is only required to give you a refund. That's it. And so there is some new legislation in the U.S. Senate. Senator Blumenthal from Connecticut.
That's right. Yeah.
Is trying to pass legislation that's actually pretty generous for the passengers, that if there are cancellations, passengers not only get refunded but also get monetary compensation. And
how far-fetched is this?
I don't think it's going to happen personally.
Yeah.
As I was saying before, I think the airlines have a much stronger lobby than the passengers do, but hopefully that there'll be some type of give and take between the airlines. Yeah. My concern also that if there is any type of monetary issue that's involved with the airlines, that they will just, again, pass that off to the traveler. So we may see fares go up.
And for anybody who travels a lot, air travel and so forth, it's called Senate Bill 178. And so why do you say that you don't think it's going to pass? I mean, you did mention that the airline lobby is a bit stronger than the passenger one, but I mean, these things are happening more and more, it seems. A lot of times, though, it's at no fault of the airline.
Right.
So when should one just be understanding of, say, weather circumstances or safety concerns versus when you feel like you've been wronged by the airline?
Right. And so there's been, in the legislation, there is some safeguards for that. I agree with weather or anything. As a passenger, and I typically, even though I do passenger rights cases, I do a lot of aircraft crash cases.
Oh, wow.
And weather is not something that people should play with, believe it or not. But there are some safeguards in there. So the airlines, if it is due to weather, air traffic control, things that are beyond the airline's control, then those provisions wouldn't kick in. But if it's something related to the airline, staffage of pilots, we saw the computer outages with Southwest and a number of other airlines. Right. Those kind of things, then the airline would be responsible. Mm-hmm. And there is an additional safeguard in there too, that the airline can't try to, because I think today the airlines get away with faulting weather or air traffic control.
Using it as an excuse when it is not necessarily the case.
And so there is a penalty provision in there that the airlines, if they get caught doing that, they would face a penalty.
So in the event that I have seen either my own flight being canceled or delayed, or seeing someone else's flight canceled or delayed, or what have you, they're usually offered the option, or overfilled. Here's another one, overfilled. So they're at capacity. Would you mind waiting for the next flight? We'll give you $100. Who, raise your hand who wants to take it. What are passengers expecting then if it's not an extra $100 in the pocket in a flight a little bit later that day?
Right. So the denied boarding, where they oversell a flight like you were just talking about, that is the only thing under law where the airlines would actually have to pay the passenger. That's why they offer people money or vouchers. The law is if they can get you to your destination between an hour and 2 hours, they have to pay you, it's like 200% or up to $775. Whatever's lower. Okay. If it's more than 2 hours, it goes up to $1,550. Okay. And that is an actual, they will hand you a check. They're supposed to hand you a check at the airport.
Yeah, then and there.
Right then and there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this will be very interesting. When are we supposed to find out more about this Senate Bill 178?
It's going through now, and the FAA reauthorization bills are due this year, later this summer. So I would think it would probably get lumped into that.
And then you can always just knock on Pete Buttigieg's door and say, "Hey, come on, man,
Absolutely.
What's happening with my refund?
Absolutely.
Pay up." Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us,
Sure.
Jim. Appreciate that. Don't hold your breath, everybody, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. We're back after this.